I would like to thank Psyched Substance. Whoa, thank you, man, for helping me prepare for this journey with his videos as much as someone can with something so abstract. Maybe one day he will be able to read this and know he opened my mind up and allowed me to be able to do this. That is cool.
According to YouTube's guidelines shown here, videos which intend to educate are documentary by nature and do not glorify the use of drugs. Both abide by the community safety guidelines and are eligible for monetization. The following video does not glorify the use of drugs. Instead, attempts to be non-biased while delivering vital life-saving information disguised as entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Psyched Substance. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something completely new. I am going to be reacting to your viewer-submitted trip reports. Now, in the future, I want you guys to all visit the Psyched Substance Reddit. That's right, we got our official Reddit that I never push because I never visit it, but let's give it some action. Let's get that thing popping. And I want you to submit your trip reports on there so that people can upvote the best ones. And, then I can read the comments on the best trip reports and make this more interesting. But as of right now, these trip reports were submitted via email. So to everybody who submitted their trip report, I give you guys a big thank you. And if you want to submit them again on the subreddit, by all means, go ahead. I will include a link in the comments and the video description to that subreddit. Anyway, I actually have not even read a single trip report before reacting to them in this video. So what I'm going to do is just pick one completely at random. Let's just hope that I happen to pick a good one, and let's get this video going. As always, this video is being created strictly for harm reduction. Essentially, I'm going to read and react to the trip report. I'm going to give my 2 cents and say what you could have done better, what you did wrong, how you could have maybe followed safe use, or whether you were safe. Yeah, I'm essentially going to read these out and give you my opinion on them from a safety and, harm reduction context, because that's what I do. Anyway, let's jump right into these stories, baby. Here we go. Turk Y says, "Hey Adam, hope you and your family are doing well and staying safe. You mentioned people sending your trip reports in one of your newest videos. Here is a trip report I wrote and posted on the Psychonauts Reddit page." There we go. That's perfect. About a year ago, about my ayahuasca experience. The title is Medical Doctor's Ayahuasca in brackets DMT Trip Report. That ought to be good. This trip report is somewhat dedicated to you. As I would have never had this experience without your videos. Since then, I've had a few more trips with psilocybin, LSD, and vaporized DMT, which was different from ayahuasca to my surprise. He includes the link to his Reddit page, and he says, "Thanks for doing what you do. It's great to see big medical/science journals like JAMA and Nature publishing research on psychedelics. And it will be interesting to see where the field is in 5 to 10 years. Submitted 3 days ago. I would love to give a thank you to you, Mr. Medical Doctor, for having the courage to put yourself out there and talk about your DMT trip report. If we get more professionals talking about their experiences, it is going to really open the doors wide for the general public to understand that these compounds can be used in a safe way, and it's not just for drug addicts hanging out in their mom's basements. No offense if that's you, that was me before. And it's not to say that we don't have profound experiences, we're just not taken as seriously in this academic-oriented, ridiculously stupid world. Maybe eventually people will realize that true intelligence has nothing to do with memorizing things out of a book and reciting them on a test. That has to do with memorization skills. I don't think there's too much of a correlation between that and true intelligence. True intelligence, in my opinion, aligns more with having the ability to think for yourself. And as we can see in the world today, very few people know how to do this. But I'm going on a tangent. Let's get to his Reddit page. Hopefully this has a lot of upvotes. There we go. 299 upvotes submitted a year ago. The title is Doctor's Ayahuasca DMT Trip Report. Let's get into this. It's relatively short, kind of maybe long. He's got, I don't know how to see how many replies to this. Let's see. 58 comments. All right, this gives us some good reading, baby. Let's start this off. He says, "Hey everyone, I had my first DMT experience recently and I feel the need to write it down and share it to help integrate it all. I am a medical doctor and give patients powerful medications daily. Some keep people alive while their cardiovascular systems are failing, and others allow people to survive painful and invasive surgeries where their bodies are torn apart." That was quite descriptive. Sorry, well, their bodies are torn open. "We can put people on cardiopulmonary bypass and temporarily stop their hearts. We can completely alter people's physiology and put them in a coma and paralyze them. We can keep people awake and calm while someone operates on their brain. We can use narcotics stronger than fentanyl. We can put medications into your spinal fluid," sounds like those LSD rumors, "and stop your nerves from functioning. The experience I've read that people have had on DMT/ayahuasca defy what I've learned and seen." Yeah, they tend to do that. Sure, we use ketamine and propofol, not sure what that one is, and ether type gases. Ether, that's an oldie, but apparently a goodie that I don't think you can really get anymore. It would be interesting to do a review on that. Or sorry, ether, I think is how it's pronounced. Type gases that are incompletely understood and have vast effects on the brain, but the described effects of DMT still surpass any of these. It fascinated me how such a chemical could exist yet be relatively unknown to such a large part of the scientific/medical community. I felt like the only way to really understand it was to experience it myself. And anyone who's tried DMT will realize that once you experience, you're left with more questions than answers. I'm not sure if you really understand much, if not how much you truly don't understand about everything after you try it. My only previous psychedelic experiences were salvia and LSD at 100 micrograms. 100 micrograms is a pretty average, if not smaller than average dose, especially if you're talking about street blotter, which are notoriously underdosed. He says, I consumed the DMT through ayahuasca, so the exact dose is difficult to determine. I started with 1 glass. It came on slowly. At first, it almost felt like I was drunk. I felt mildly disoriented and nauseous, but never enough to actually vomit. As I settled into this intoxicated state, I decided to take another glass. I'm not sure if that's too smart, but people often do that. Sometimes it is better to just take 1 glass, especially your first time, and then wait until you have 2 glasses subsequent trips. But the intoxication grew slowly. I had very mild closed-eyed visuals, but nothing impressive. The experience was far more than anything I had heard described, which is usually the case as words fail. Ineffable is the word that I like to use because we don't have words for how you feel in that experience, similar but not really to how other languages may have words that actually can't be properly translated in English because we just don't have a word for certain things, which we would have to combine multiple words and then the definition would get skewed. They've done studies, and people who speak multiple or different languages often experience reality in a different way. Like, let that sink in for a minute. The way that you speak to yourself internally dictates how you experience or perceive this reality. So when you factor that in and you try to, stretch your mind, for those of you who have not tripped before, it really is a stretch, too much to really make, to try to understand what the psychedelic experience is like. I was starting to feel frustrated and annoyed. I sat there with my eyes closed, just waiting. Then suddenly a sea of purplish/pink spheres appeared in front of me, and the few spheres directly in front of me swirled and fused together into this liquid glowing skull. That's sick, dude. I opened my eyes, shocked, and stared at the ceiling. The shadows on the ceiling appeared to change their position as unusual patterns came and went in the shadows. Now, keep in mind, I'm reading this for the first time, so this is a genuine reaction here. I have not read this before. They weren't the kinds of patterns people typically describe on psychedelics, but more subtle. I'd argue people just fail miserably at describing the patterns. There's a good chance that is what people see. We all have different words for the same thing sometimes. Not to take anything away from the experience, of course. It was as if I was changing my position in the room and getting a different perspective on how the ceiling looked. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It's kind of like you're seeing something from multiple points at once, and it creates this optical illusion swirling effect. If I stared closely, things blurred and distorted. I was now hearing a ringing. Oh, the notorious frequency sound you get on DMT that when you smoke it or take a high enough dose of ayahuasca reaches heights so insanely incomprehensible that it actually tears a hole through this reality and sucks you through it. Not the ringing you hear with nitrous, but lower in pitch, like an ominous hum. Well, that's a good way to describe it. I still felt like I wasn't at the point that I had heard described, so I had another glass. Oh my gosh. Buddy, you had 3 glasses your first time trying Messiah? Oh, you're asking for one hell of a ride, man. You are one brave dude. Give you that much. I went back to my seat and closed my eyes. The nausea was now gone and my eyes felt heavy. I could no longer keep them opened. I started having intense visuals. The colors became more vivid. It kind of looks like this oversaturation in a sense where everything's like kind of the colors look like they're overlapping and melting into each other, at least in my experience. The shapes flowing quickly around me now in much higher definition. I can only remember a fraction of the visions that I saw from this point on. Next thing I remember, I'm looking down on my body, lying on the floor as if I was perched just above my head. Oh boy, he's getting out of his body here. Keep in mind, these out-of-body psychedelic experiences feel much more real than astral projection. Not to take anything away from it, even though my tone would suggest that I am. It's just they're so profoundly different. I've experienced, lucid dreaming and all that stuff, and don't think that you know what it's like if you've had that experience. This is so much more real I can hear all the naysayers criticizing me. Adam, you're saying that my astral projection isn't real. It's so good. It's important to me. Yeah, dude, I feel you. I've had those I've had them. Maybe just for me, they don't feel as real, but this is so much more profound, and you really don't know until you've been there. So get off your arrogant high horse of thinking that you're so special because you astral project, and understand that it's very, very different. Spiritual enlightened assholes. I was in a group of endless bodies, all of us lying flat. Down the line, I could see rows of bodies disintegrating into dust one by one. Oh, that sounds nasty. I knew it was coming for me. This sounds like the scene from that the Disney movie Soul, as they're all just like, as they're going into the light, and he turns around and he like books it, and then he jumps off and breaks through into this weird in-between place. For a split second, I was afraid, but then I realized this is what I was here for. I was at peace as the wave hit me and my body disintegrated with the rest. All that was left was my consciousness or spirit. I wasn't aware of my body at all. I didn't know if I was breathing or that if I even had lungs. You probably didn't, bro. The only thing that kept me distantly tied to this reality was the music and the chants in the background, which seemed to alter and influence my visions. My consciousness was now moving faster and exploring different dimensions or worlds or galaxies. Yeah, that's an awesome feeling. The colors and the geometry were beyond description. I'm an atheist, but the best way for me to describe it is that it felt like I was meeting God. Yep, I feel you. I was learning all of the secrets to the universe, but at the same time, I knew I couldn't bring them back with me, and it made me sad. I was searching for a way to hold on to them, but as soon as I understood, I had already forgotten. Oh, classic DMT bullshit. You get the answers, you come back, and you're like, I don't know what happened. I don't know how to describe it, but I know everything, and now I know nothing. I wondered why I couldn't see the beings I could sense were around me. Then they appeared to me in a swirling chaos of blue. They looked like flowing eel-like beings. Ooh, interesting. They knew me and they greeted me. Very common. Almost to me, it felt like I was meeting my long-lost alien family. It felt comforting. I remembered that I had a body and I was a person. Then it felt like I had fallen back into my body as if I had been hovering above it by a few inches the entire time. It physically felt like I was dropped to the ground. I took a few deep breaths to remind myself that I had lungs and let go again and left my body. I continued my interdimensional journey. The next time I returned to my body, I rolled onto my right side and felt warm wash all over me. I was out of my body for a third time. Third time, 3 glasses. I came back 3 times for Tupac. Where's that quote from, guys? Now I was in a multicolored, flowing spiderweb type geometric pattern in 4D. The visions continued to change with the music. I felt so thankful for the experience to such an intense degree. Then the purple/pink colors from the start returned, but this time there was no shapes. It was a void of purple/pink. I then just felt overwhelming love for my wife and family and life in general. Everything was at peace. Again, I'm not religious at all, but it felt like nirvana. True enlightenment. Oh, baby, that is that Satori/Kensho awakening that meditators spend their entire lives trying to reach, that just drinking a glass of this rainforest sludge can bring on all in a moment's notice. Wild, wild, crazy shit, man. That's cool. You got there. Your first time, and you got there. Freaking feels special, man. Not everybody has that. Not everybody gets that. Not everybody wants that. And not everybody's ready for that. A chime struck and a voice said the ceremony was over. I suddenly could open my eyes again. I felt like I was awake but dreaming. The hum was still there and it felt like the fabric of reality was on the brink of being torn apart. I looked at my phone and it had been 7.5 hours since my first glass. Holy spit! That's insane! Ayahuasca usually is like 3 to 4 hours. Holy balls, man. That is a long trip. Unusual, for sure. I rolled over and soon went to sleep with some very mild, white, swirling visuals. I'm still not sure how to describe, comprehend, or digest this experience. Oh yeah, it can be a little too much for the old tummy to handle. I mean, it doesn't really make sense in any way that we as humans can describe with the knowledge we have. Still, the profoundness of the whole thing resonates with me. It was a positive experience and has given me a deeper appreciation for life and those around me, even if I can't understand it all. I would like to thank Psyched Substance, whoa, thank you, man, for helping me prepare for this journey with his videos as much as someone can with something so abstract. Maybe one day he will be able to read this and know he opened my mind up and allowed me to be able to do this. That is cool. A year later, after writing this, I opened the doors to Trip Reports and you're the first ones that I picked. You're the first one that I picked. That's crazy. Coincidence? Or maybe something more. Who knows? I'm sure others out there have had similar experiences, so feel free to add your thoughts, insights, and comments. Thanks for listening. Well, my dude, that was awesome. You experienced, I mean, you don't need me to tell you what you experienced, but to try to break it down for everyone watching, even though I basically already did, that is the meeting God oneness experience, Satori, Kensho. That is the enlightenment that people talk about. This guy actually, this doctor of all people, which is incredible that he had an open mind enough to try this experience for himself. He had what I would suggest is probably the pinnacle ayahuasca trip. Once you come out of this, you have a completely new perception or appreciation for reality and a brand new understanding of, just like I said, how little you know, which sounds scary, and it can be scary, but if you come to that from an educated and ready, when you're ready for that realization, it can shake your whole life up in a very positive way, and it can add a new sense of gratitude and appreciation to your daily life. Like he said, he felt, deep appreciation for life and those around me, like his family. It's really easy in our materialistic, sick world to fall down the rabbit hole of hedonism and follow nothing but self-pleasure, self-preservation, falling into what our society deems we should do, which is just pure, disgusting consumerism that's raping the planet of resources and destroying our very lives and our sense of well-being. And even after having these profound experiences, as insane as this was, it can be really easy to fall back down that hole. So many of us have done that, sometimes by choice, because having this knowledge can be too much for us to take. Yeah, having this experience that is like coming up for air, as Ram Dass says, and getting out of that and actually, first of all, you realize just how small you are, but also just how insanely big and powerful you are. You're both nothing and everything all at once, baby. Well, that goes beyond language, and that is something that I think will change anyone's life for the better, assuming they are mature enough to be able to integrate that experience. And yeah, I mean, props to you, man. Sounds like you had one wild ride, and I am grateful for being able to help you in some way, open your mind to having this experience. I mean, however I did help you, I'm not entirely sure, but you're welcome. And thank you for submitting this trip report, because all in all, I mean, I don't really have any advice to give, like, what he could have done differently. I mean, like, I would say, don't take 3 glasses your first go, build it up slowly. But in the same regard, he clearly was at a place where he was ready for this. And it looks like he trusted his instincts and he trusted his gut, and it brought him to a very, very good, profound place that I'm sure he doesn't regret. So this is a good example of know thyself. He felt comfortable and confident journeying this far, and he was, I would say, rewarded for it. At least, at a glance, that's what it seems like. This sounds like somebody who went into it from a good place and with good, intentions. Everything probably was checked. He was in a good set. Like, he felt comfortable with himself, with his surroundings, where he was in his life. And this is a good example of how, when that happens, you can push the envelope and go for the experience that you feel you want, need, ready for, deserve. Insert any of your decision as to how you want to frame this experience or how he got there. And yeah, I think it holds true. And this is a really good example, finally, of a trip not going terribly wrong, which I focus so much on to keep you guys safe. But this, I think, is a great example of somebody who has a trip, who's got their life together, and how they are, in a sense, like I said, rewarded for it. You didn't suggest anything frightening happened to him at all. Instead, it helped him. And that is what psychedelics can do. I spend so much time looking at the dark side, and there is a very real good side that can happen when you are ready and prepared. And I don't want to stress this point enough. A lot of people think they're prepared, but they're just so good at lying and tricking themselves, they really aren't anywhere near being ready for this type of experience. And it's really hard to say. Like, you would ask, well, how do I know when I'm ready? All of the above. Is your life in a good place? But again, I can't say that, because some people have their life in a bad place in the trip, and they trip and it turns it around, and that's the catalyst they needed to heal. So it's like, I can't give you advice on if you should or shouldn't do something. Only you know. And ultimately, you got to trust that gut, trust your heart, and follow what feels right to you. Let's take a look at these some of these comments. Top comment says, that was profound. Immense thank you for sharing. My adult child and I are thinking about trying Aya together. I've been reading everyone's experiences I can before taking the dive. It's good and bad. You don't want to be programmed to, have expectations though, but I can see the safety value in that. I wonder if I will someday see a greater understanding and appreciation here in the West. I don't know. People like this Connor Murphy character are making it seem like people are going to have a dark view of ayahuasca now. More on that soon. We've got a collaboration with Captain Deltoids, Mr. Mo Plates Mo Dates himself coming soon. We did a live podcast, not one of these Skype ones or Zoom meetings. We actually were together and we filmed, our consensus on what's going on. We reacted to some of that, which I just wanted to do from a harm reduction standpoint to kind of clear the air as to how much of his experience is based on his ayahuasca use and how much is just based on, without giving too much away, him. So stay tuned for that More Plates, More Dates Connor Murphy collab coming soon on both of our channels. Anyway, he asked, do you plan on consuming IO again? Dude said, thanks for the comment. After the experience, I'm honestly surprised it hasn't already gained a greater understanding and appreciation here. It certainly felt healing for me. This is good. Get some more insight. Although I didn't go into the experience looking for a potential treatment for a mental health issue. I'll let the researchers figure those answers out. At this time, I don't need to consume it again. There we go. Healthy user. Didn't need to visit again, at least not right away. I think I got all the answers I was looking for and more. As for mushrooms, it would be interesting to compare their effects with other substances, but I don't have the same captivation with them maybe in the future. So, he says that a year ago. He didn't try it again, but in his email to me, I'm pretty sure he said, he has since had a few more trips with psilocybin, LSD, and vaporized DMT. So he did, have this experience and go out and explore more, which is awesome. I'm glad that he continued his exploration. Someone else replied, I'm a medical doctor. Okay, cool. Good for you. Good for you, man. Here's somebody who says, it's really great to hear from a fellow doctor on the subject. Another doctor said, I just tried DMT smoked for the first time a few days ago and had a very positive and profound experience with certain similarities to yours. I felt like I needed more time because with the time I had, it felt like a very fast information download or information overload, if you might. I might plan on trying Changa next, followed by ayahuasca sometime in the future or in the next couple of years. I really hope you do continue to explore psychedelics. I have a rather large group of fellow docs who also enjoy exploring the subject scattered around the U.S. Way to go, doctors! Let's spread the word. You can use this in a healthy way. This was incredibly well written and loved hearing about what you could remember from your journey. Feel free to PM me if you want to talk about it. Personal message, baby. Personal message. Now we change it to IM. I'm an old dude too, and for me, PM is where it's at. I would love to hear from you. Wow, thanks for sharing such a beautiful experience. Interesting to see your perspective on this. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it looks like you got an overwhelming positive response. And I'd like to wrap this up by thanking you for your submission again. And I'm so happy to hear about people, professionals. I don't want to take anything away from all of us bums and schlums tripping in our basement. It's like, just because we're not professionals doesn't mean that our experiences don't hold merit or value. Again, it's because of the way our society is geared. It's just people are more likely to maybe alter their view, especially when they've been so programmed with all the propaganda, when they hear about an actual doctor, somebody that they trust. Oh my God, doctors, they're the most trustworthy people ever, as we all know. That's more likely to help society than just some druggo. It's just unfortunately the reality of the current situation, and things are changing. Anyway, again, huge thank you to you for your submission. I think this was a great addition for the first, reacting to viewer submitted trip reports videos. If you are watching and you want to submit your own trip report, do not email me. Instead, visit the Psych Substance Reddit so you can submit it that way. Again, there's going to be a link to the Psych Substance Reddit below. Can't talk right now. And yeah, the more trip reports submitted, the more reactions we get. I want all you guys who are interested in, my channel to visit the Reddit, and we can build like a community. We can talk to each other and upvote the trip reports you like. And then if yours gets a lot of attention, then I can, reviewed in the video. I just got lucky that the first one I clicked happened to also be a Reddit post, which is amazing. This is important because I don't have the time to read all of them, and I got a ton of email submissions. So yeah, visit Psych Substance subreddit, submit your trip report that way. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Over 50% of you guys watching aren't subscribed, and if you are subscribed, you gotta hit that bell. Be notified so that you actually know when I'm posting these new videos. We're going to get a lot more videos posted soon. And if you did apply to be an editor, I'm still going through applications. We're still looking for that video editor. So if I haven't replied to your email yet and you applied for the editor position, you're not out of luck. We're still searching. I've been very swamped lately, and I had to put it off as I work with a tight deadline, which I might be late on for the Adam Tries Ketamine Live video coming soon. That's right. Ketamine Live is coming. Finally, you guys have only been asking for 5+ years. Anyway, before I continue rambling on forever, huge thank you. Show some love. Smash that like button. Just smash it as many times as possible, which is just once. And I will see all you guys in the next video. Love you all. Stay safe and cheers.